Okay. Hey guys, it's Elise, and I'm so excited because you guys are getting to be really well acquainted to Avery, who's one of my dear friends with here at DealMachine and outside of DealMachine. So I'm really thankful for you being here, Avery. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, first I want to catch up and see how's St. Louis doing.
Hey, St. Louis is doing pretty good. It's got its undeciding weather. It's 80 degrees one day and it's 30 the next, but yeah, it's doing pretty good.
Good, good. Well, just so people who don't know you and kind of where you started, could you give like a brief summary of like your real estate investing like history?
Yeah. My name is Avery Smith. I'm 42 years old. I have two children and a girlfriend. I live here in St. Louis, Missouri. I've been wholesaling for about I started late 2018, so it's a little over a year and a half, or right at that. I've done numerous amount of deals. I got my first deal on DealMachine within the first, I guess, maybe 2.5 weeks. And then after that deal, that particular seller led me to another property, and it's just been downhill ever since.
Oh my gosh, I freaking love it. I was just telling who was asking me, but I was like, I'm so excited I have Avery on with me. I was telling David, I was talking to David and some new people that had just joined, and I was like, Avery and I pretty much have the same anniversary with DealMachine.
Yeah. Most definitely.
So that's like the really cool thing that I love. But I'm really excited to hear about this deal. So you closed on, was it Monday? No, Tuesday.
Yeah, we closed last Tuesday. Yeah, I had actually three closings this month. Yeah, but this particular one we're talking about, we just did Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, hi everyone. As you come on, please tell us where you're from. Avery is here in St. Louis. I'm in Indianapolis, but love to hear you guys say hi and ask Avery any questions. But I want to just dive in and talk about this deal. So, go
Yeah.
ahead and tell us how it happened.
Well, yeah, of course, it all started with driving for dollars. So I did the marketing on this property. I sent out a postcard, and the gentleman gave me a call. So I pre-qualified, well, not pre-qualified him, because pre-qualifying is what an agent is like if you're being pre-approval for financing. So I guess I made sure he was motivated enough to sell. So when I arrived at the property, it was beautiful, man. It was just entirely too attractive for me to wholesale. So I have a mentor that I use, and I also have a realtor that's on my team, in my pocket at any time at my disposal. So I called her up, booked her with an interview because the guy was ready to sell, and sold it by using my real estate agent.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell us how that played out, because people I know are, how do I work with real estate agents? Like, what do I need to know? Like, what do I do? So, can you kind of talk through like
All right.
working with one?
So first of all, you need to check with your real estate attorney on things that you can do with a real estate agent because every market is different. But here in the St. Louis market, I've used this same particular agent for maybe, I think, 4 or 5 deals. And each exit strategy was pretty different because there was one time I got an assignable contract with the property owner, but they let me list it on the MLS and they didn't care about the overage. They just wanted the property gone. So I sold the deal that way, probably I would say almost a year ago. And they didn't even care about how much money I made. They just said, look, we just want the property gone and fast. And this was a Victorian house that was in Florissant, Missouri.
Ooh.
And it was a joint venture with me and the agent. And they signed a disclosure form, with the brokerage firm saying that, hey, Avery has the permission to list it on MLS. So with the title company, they dry funded the deal. They pretty much paid for everything up in front into the closing point, and that's what made everything happen. So there's a lot of moving parts in something like that. You really have to get with a real estate agent. You have to get with a real estate attorney to make sure everything is good. You got to make sure that the seller is on board, and then also you got to find a title company that will dry fund a deal. So but this particular deal we just closed this week, well, last week, wasn't like this. I pretty much use a referral program. Me and the real estate agent have a written agreement as to where anything that I bring her, she'll give me 35% of her commission. And that's how we did that.
Now, how did you come up with that number or that agreement, I guess?
Well, it's because, I do marketing every month, and that comes out of my expenditures. So if I'm pretty much getting a lead ready to list and all they want to do is just sign on the dotted line, I'm pretty much just handing you some commission. So even though they pay their brokerage firm half of what they make, but still 35%, it comes back to me because the expenditures that are coming out of my pocket, of course, we all want to make a profit. So it's a win-win for everybody. It depends on how much they want to sell the property for. I mean, of course, if it's a house that wants to sell for like 30,000, you're really not going to make anything. But I think this house, we listed it on the market for 159.9.
Okay.
So the weekend that it went live, we had at least 20 offers over asking price. Yeah. So that following weekend when we went live, we had all those offers. We accepted the final one on that Monday, and then the rest is history.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
you said you've already had 3 deals this month?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I sold some vacant land in Florida. I had this
In
one particular
Florida?
deal.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all over the place, man. So it's endless. Down in Florida, down in the Everglades, there's a lot of swampland and a lot of land. So, back in the early 80s, people were buying this stuff before the hurricanes imminent in the 90s, turned into floodland. So I pretty much just got this property dirt cheap down there. It was about a quarter acre. And I got it, and then somebody else was interested in buying it, and I think I netted about $2,000 off that.
Oh, okay. Hold the phone though. How the heck did you get, like, do you have family down there? Were you just down there, or were you
Uh,
just
One of my best friends, man, shout out to Barry Christopher, man. One of my best friends, he's a real estate agent down there. And he's like, dude, we got all this vacant land down here, man. He's like, and this is just sitting here. So I pretty much used one of my programs that I use, PropStream. And I went down there and looked and see all the vacant land. It was just checking it out. And, I skip traced the owner, sent him a postcard via DealMachine, and then the rest is history.
Oh my gosh, that was not what I was expecting. Oh yeah, in Florida. Now Avery's virtual and he's
Hey, you
not
know
in
what?
St. Louis.
Wholesaling is limitless, to be honest. It is limitless. You can, if you really get better at what you're doing, the opportunities are endless, really.
Well, and I want everyone to know, like, you're still doing this part-time, right? Or you
Oh,
do like,
very part-time, very part-time. The funny thing about it is I put my own foot in my butt sometimes. I mean, if I really got laser focused on what I was doing, I'm pretty sure I could be killing about maybe 30 a month. But I'm having fun with what I do. I do it at my own pace. I don't look at it as a job. I just look at it as the most value I can add to somebody else's life. So I enjoy doing that pretty much.
Avery, you just like kill me. You're doing this part-time. You just closed 3 deals in the first 2 months of November.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what?
Jeez.
COVID is bringing deals, man. COVID is bringing deals because when I'm walking to people's houses, we got the mask on, we got booties on and everything like that. We're walking in, we're doing the whole social distancing. So yeah, it's kind of interesting because a lot of people be like, nah, I'm not getting out there because I don't want the Rona. But you know what? The Rona will bring you some deals. So, you got to be creative and you got to work around the Rona.
I love no, and I think that's great. Like, especially as we went into lockdown, and God only knows if that'll ever happen again.
Yeah.
But like, people are getting creative with like having the buyers go with their phones, and I mean, as
Yes.
you said, you have to get creative no
Yeah.
matter what.
You have to get creative because the thing about it is, like with me, I always take myself out of the deal and I just try to do the best I can for somebody. I like this particular deal we just closed on last Tuesday. The guy was like, hey man, my job laid me off. The house is pretty much paid for. I just want to walk away with some cash in my pocket so I can so I can downgrade to a condo. And he said, I'll be fine with that. So I didn't want to give him a cash offer. I didn't want to lowball the guy or anything. And not saying that giving cash offers is lowballing, but then again, when you give somebody a cash offer, you want the maximum profits. You know what I'm saying? You at least want 20 to 25% of return of investment. And this just wasn't something that I wanted to do. So I just used my real estate. Shout out to Jamila. Shout out to Jamila Lauders, my real estate agent. She's a go-giver, man. She's always helping me out. She's always texting me saying, what's the next one? She's really on top of it because if she didn't text me, I'd just be chilling out, just moving at my own leisure in my own pace. But she's like, hey man, I know you're a go guy, man. So let's go do it. I'm like, all right, man, come on.
I love it. And so, how did you create that relationship with her? How did you find a good real estate agent to work with?
This is the very beginning of me wholesaling, man, and I found her on Craigslist because it was a deal on Craigslist for a property being sold in Kirkwood. So I was interested in buying it, and when we walked through the house, it was like something you would see out of a scary movie. There was dolls all over the place and all these little
Oh God.
Stafford chairs and figurines, and I was like, no, I don't think we can wholesale this one. So as we began building rapport with each other, I gave her information about what I did and how my business operates, and she was really intrigued because she didn't know anything about wholesaling. So she wanted to know how we could work together. And I said, pretty much any expired listings that you may have, I could still give them a cash offer. And, I would give you a referral. So it was vice versa. She was like, if there's anybody that wants to list, I will give you a referral. So of course you got to check with a real estate agent in your town or your city that you live in to make sure that you can do that. And then, you're pretty much quarterbacking the deal. Anything that you put in the contract is up to you.
I freaking love it. Okay, I'm going to go over here. You got Brock from Atlanta.
What up, Brock?
Are you doing any virtual wholesaling in addition to DealMachine? Avery is now. I just learned this. So is it just Florida? Are there other places you have friends? I feel like you probably, knowing your personality, you have friends everywhere that are probably looking.
That's funny that you said that. You know what? A friend of mine called me up from California. He's like, "Hey man, I seen you on YouTube." I'm like, "What do you mean you see me on YouTube?" Straight up, he see me on one of these DealMachine things that we on YouTube. I pretty much try to market everywhere I know somebody and that I can trust. So when it came with the Florida thing, my friend Barry, he's a real good guy, man. He'll get up underneath the porch and get a cat out for a lady at a listing if he has to. That's the type of person that he is. And the dude's like 6'5", 280. He's a pretty big guy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he'll tell me how the market is down there, and I'll check it out. And I'll go on DealMachine and see things because DealMachine is also a data processor. It'll let you know when something's been sold. So I'll ask for a zip code. He'll give me the zip code. I'll put it in his DealMachine and it'll pull it up, and I'll just tap on a property, see when was the last time it sold, how much it sold for, and I'll just go up the street and just see what's going on.
Oh my gosh, I love it. This is gonna be, dude, I don't think you can keep this being part-time for like much longer. I'm just saying, you are blowing out of the water and you're doing this part-time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like Avery.
Like literally, I probably do this maybe 15 hours a week.
That just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. Hey, Derek's, thank you for telling people smash the like button. Yes, people, smash it.
What's up, Derek? Anthony, how y'all doing?
St. Louis as well. Just signed wholesale contract 10 minutes ago.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Hey, look me up, man. We can go to lunch or something, man, at Network.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And Anthony, tell us when you get it closed because we want to interview you and hear your story, my friend. Well, I love it. There's so many freaking people in St. Louis, I swear.
Yeah, and St. Louis is like a gold mine. There's actually people that called me up from out of town trying to network with me to get some deals done. And I'll work with anybody. It doesn't matter.
I love it. And I just love because you have to find good people too that are right, that have the right motivation. I think that's so nice that your real estate agent has that same motivation too that you work with. Yeah. Clinton, hello.
What's up, Clint?
Good to see you, Clinton. Al. It's
Al,
been
what
a
up,
while.
bro?
Good to see you. Will do. Sounds good. Awesome. Nice. Excellent. Okay. So everyone, please feel free to ask Avery any questions that you have with
anything you want, man.
Starting out or anything like that. But just to be clear, like, are you still just doing then the mail marketing, or are you doing any other type of reach out?
You know what? I really recently started lead generation by having a big database of properties to call, but mostly it's all direct mail and postcards.
I was about to say, if you only do 15 hours a week, I'm like, when is he going to call all these leads?
Yeah.
And you just remind me again, just so everyone knows, but do you have a set time that you go out and drive for dollars or anything like that? Or do you just do it on the whim?
You know, it's funny. I'm always on the go because I have 2 kids. So it's either wrestling or football or whatever we got going on. So when I'm driving up the street, I'll see something and I'll just put it right in DealMachine right there.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
On the way to the store, on the way to the car wash, on the way to GameStop, I factor wholesaling into my everyday life to where it's easy, because I don't want to put pressure on myself. Because I remember when I first started out, before I even had DealMachine, I was writing stuff down on a piece of paper and I'm throwing it down, and I come home and I go to the county assessor's website, and it was just a mess. It was just really a mess. But DealMachine simplified my life and everything. So it's no matter if I go to the store to get gas or I go to the store to get some chips or pick up one of the kids, I'll see something, put it right in, just get right to work.
Yeah, no, I had obviously, since I just got into DealMachine, I didn't know that driving for dollars was you did have to write it down. And David had me do it one time, and I was like, how did people do this?
You don't understand. I had like scribbled pieces of paper all over my truck, and when people would get in, a lead to blow out the window, I'm like, no, nah, man, it was atrocious. That was probably the worst experience of wholesaling myself. I mean, I would rather people tell me to go pound sand on the phone when I cold call them versus losing a lead with a piece of paper or because you know what? It's very inconsistent when you write it down because you're not really organized at all.
No. And you're just like, you're cleaning out the back seat and you find a little napkin or something that you wrote one down on and you're like, oh, Seriously, this one. Man. You just worked hard to find out what property address it is. That was the other thing I found really hard is trying to figure out if it didn't have numbers on it. I didn't have a map or anything, so I'd have to like look, see what the other numbers are, and take kind of a guess of like what this is. So
yeah, because like when you're writing the address down or whatever, and then you go to the county assessor's website, I mean, then you got to print it off on a printer. So then you got a big 8.5 by 11 printout of a property with tax information and all that stuff on it. You're not going to keep that anywhere.
no, I did do that too, and I was just like, David, what do I do with all of this?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible.
But it makes you appreciate other things that come now, because you're like,
most definitely. I mean, if I can sit there and I can grab my phone and I can point, click, and save, oh my goodness, man, I'll do that all day. That's why I do it part-time.
and I think y'all don't even understand Avery, since he's been with us for so long, like he's gone through, like he did not have route tracking. He did not have it to where it pulled up the information before you added it. Like he was OG DealMachine.
Didn't have Street View, didn't have any of that stuff, man.
None of it.
Nope. Absolutely not.
Okay, Avery, so putting in 15 hours a week, what is the best way to find houses just strictly driving for dollars? I know you said when you're out and about, but how do you maximize that 15 hours?
I tell you what, just do it sporadically. So if you got a 5-hour work week, you can do it 3 hours. I would be the master of your own backyard. You know what I mean? I would start at your front door and I would just do an spiral motion around your entire neighborhood just to make sure everything is good, because that's where a lot of the deals are. My very first deal was a block and a half from my house. It was a house that I drove past every day and didn't know anything about it because it didn't really look vacant. You see what I'm saying? It looked like it's a regular house in my neighborhood until I put it in DealMachine and it showed absentee owner plus. I mean, that's when maybe send the postcard. So yeah, just master your own backyard and the deals will come because they're right there. A lot of them are unveiled and you just really just got to put them in the system and let the system do the work for you.
I'm so glad you said that. I think probably 85% of the people who tell me their first deal says it's in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they just didn't know. And I feel like you can speak better to the owner that way since you live in the area.
Yes, most definitely. Because as soon as she responded to my postcard, she goes, "What made you want to pick my house out of all houses?" And I said, "Well, I've just seen it sitting there. I didn't really see that much activity." And then I told her about the way I market. And she goes, "Oh, that's very interesting. I've never heard of anything like that." So I introduced her to DealMachine. She doesn't wholesale or anything, but I'm pretty sure word of mouth travels fast. And she was like, "Well, why do you want to buy my house?" So of course I didn't want to sound like the big bag investor. I just said, I'm a guy that just looking for a little extra money, because I put some money up and I just want to invest, with the money that I have. Because if you tell people, "Hey, my name is A and I'm an investor," they automatically want to be standoffish. But if you tell them, "Hey man, I'm just a guy that has a little extra coin, or I just want to get more return out of my money and I just want to, add more value to my community," then they start to open up and warm up a little bit more to you.
Mm-hmm. And you sound like a neighbor then. You don't sound like a company that wants to, swindle them or whatever.
Most definitely, because she did ask my address. I mean, and before I even went into her house, she wanted my driver's license and all that stuff. And I was kind of weirded out.
Smart lady.
Oh my God, yes. Because she lived in Georgia. So she didn't really know what to do. She just wanted to get rid of the property.
And I love, everyone take note, like Avery did not say your house looked like it was so distressed and it looked awful. He said that it just looked like there wasn't a lot going on. Yeah. So don't tell people that their house looks like crap.
I went to a house one time and I didn't even want to walk on the front porch because being an ocean inspector for the company that I work for, it was just really unsafe conditions. But it just turned out being that the woman was a single parent. She'd been at the house for 16 years. I mean, there was no guy around the house or any significant other that, was really handy around the house. You know what I mean? And she just did the best that she could with what she had. That was the deal that we got cut off on last time we interviewed. Yeah.
Okay, so give a quick summary of that, just because we did get cut off with that, and that was just such an amazing deal. So could you speak to that?
Yeah, I'll sum it up. Use Jamila as well, because I use my marketing, with driving for dollars and DealMachine. The young lady kept my postcard on her refrigerator for at least, I think, about a month. She got a lot of other marketing deals and she didn't like it, and for some reason mine was more appeasing to her, so she gave me a call. So when we got to her house, it was pretty rough. And of course I kept her spirits up, and she's like, "I never sold a house before." And I said, "That's why I'm here as as a guy who wants to invest." And then I brought Jamila, as somebody you can list on the MLS. And she says, "Well, I have an X amount of time. I got to be at a certain place by this no matter what. So what do you think the best option for me is?" And I said, "Well, we can just do a temporary listing to see what feedback we get." And the feedback was horrible. So I reached out to a couple hedge funds that I knew via email blast. Shout out to Joel. They liked what they saw. We closed on the property. And the funny thing about it is there was extra money on the table because pretty much I just wanted what I put into it. I mean, I helped the lady get junk out of her house. I helped pay for her grass to get cut. And this is all before I even got under contract. I just, wanted to help her out. So I just pretty much told her I wanted to get back what I put into the property, which is about maybe $1,900, if that, and it was me making a few $100s over. So there was maybe about a little close to $3,000 left on the table. And she's like, "Hey, Avery, there's extra money left there. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Nah." I said, "You got 2 kids, you got to move. You need it more than I do." I said, "This will come back to me tenfold. I believe in putting in positive energy into the universe instead of getting negative back." So with that being said, she got to her destination and she sent me a check for $2,300 just for being the person that I am.
Literally, that is one of the most touching stories I've ever heard from this.
Hey,
you have what? It there.
Look, yeah, I don't know if y'all gonna read this. You know what I'm saying? Lisa Sanders, right on. I'm gonna read it to you. It says, "Thank you, Avery. You have totally changed my life for the better. You will always be in my life. Stay positive. Stay positive. Love, Lisa." And I'm not gonna disclose that, but it's funny because I really didn't even cash this. I just got it sitting there. It's the check she sent me. So yeah, she's a cool lady, man. She's a cool lady. There's a lot that went into the story because as we're cleaning out stuff in our house, I find a yearbook that says Lebanon High School. That's my hometown. And come to find out, she went to school with my aunt. I didn't even know it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Such a small world. But you you changed hers though for helping her get to where she needed to be. And like you said, you didn't even want to step on the front porch because let alone there were like 3 people living in it. So that house
was rough. Lisa, I'm not talking bad. And she even knew it. She even told me, she's like, "Man, I'm sorry, guys. Excuse it." She was constantly apologizing. But the thing about it is you got to tell a person it's really not about the building. It's about your situation. And it's about how we can help you solve this problem. And you have to let everybody know out here in this business that it's really not about you. Come into it with an open and clear mind. Don't be judgmental, and you'll never know who you come across, and you never know who they know. Because in the wholesaling game, it gets this big that quick. I tell you that. I mean, when you're being brought to it and you've never done it, I mean, of course, it's like, "Oh man, this is unknown territory. I'm kind of scared." You get gut check moments. But as you start getting better and you start doing it, your name floats around, you start getting more popular, and people will be like, "Hey, I know who you are." And I'm like, "Oh, what's up, man?" They're like, "Oh, you're the hands dirty wholesaler." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And then that's how it starts. So just keep an open mind, guys, and just stay positive and just keep going at it.
I love it. No, that's so great. Let's see here. Okay, I want to keep up with this. Mark from Baltimore, do you find mailers or cold calling more effective on leads? You can go ahead. I know you'll mainly do marketing, but
here's the deal. It depends on how you want to set the tone for your business. If you want to have more control of your business, I would say I wouldn't call it cold calling. I would say lead generation, because most of your leads aren't going to be cold. Of course, you're going to get people that don't want to talk to you, but then again, it's getting to the next person that does. So if you got a lot of time on your hands, I would say go ahead and do the direct mail, let it come to you, and then the people will have you respond to them versus you responding to the people via telephone. So I do both. I just started doing the lead generation. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. You get more in depth in the property versus sending something out and just waiting for it to return back to you. So yeah, I say in the Baltimore market, I mean, I know it's kind of competitive out there, but then again, there's a lot of collaboration out there. Yeah. Just be creative with your postcards. I know on the DealMachine, you can edit what you want to say on there. So if you find something nice that stimulates somebody's mind, it's all psychologically effective. You know what I'm saying? If you put, "Thank you, God bless," or if you put, "Thank you for the opportunity," just little small things like that make your card stand out from anybody else's, you'll get a better response rate. But if you want to control the pace of your business, I would say lead generation by cold calling all the way. Seriously.
That's awesome. I know I have to, I'm going to put a refresh on my postcards because I just got fresh pictures with my dog. So I was like, dogs.
Hey man, your Fleetwood Mac video had me dying, man. Oh my God. So I love that energy on that, man. That was bomb. That was dope.
I'm so glad. Let me tell y'all, I don't know how that man skateboarded with a giant bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it because driving with one was so difficult. I was just like taking a swig and I was driving down my neighborhood. So like my neighbors were looking at me like, what is she doing? And even the one before that where I was hopping, like I had my neighbor ask me later, she was like, what were you doing earlier? And I was like, I was making a TikTok. Like it sounded like such a, anyways,
Yeah.
she sees it later and she's like, oh, now I get it. But thank
It's
you. I
hilarious.
appreciate it.
No, it's creative, man, and you know, it's definitely goes in sync with what we're doing because I mean, hey, there's some money right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's cool.
That idea literally came to me at like while I was laying in bed, and I was like, oh my gosh, we can change it for DealMachine.
For sure. That's a great marketing ploy.
Oh, your man Chris is on here.
Monroe, peace to the fam. What's up? Hey, the woke master. Hey, let me tell you something about this guy, Chris Monroe, man.
Tell
So
me.
when I first started out wholesaling, right? So you know, we got all these little Facebook groups, and I saw him, and the man sent me an invite out to hang out with them guys over in Westport. So I saw him, I'm kind of an introvert. So when he was over there doing his thing with his friends and all that stuff, I just kind of was on the back burner, was just chilling. So I left. I go to a RIA convention, a RIA meeting about 3 days later. Sure enough, I see Chris coming up there. So then right there, it was magnetic. Let me tell you about how much collaboration there is in this game. This guy has an office, not even 5 blocks away from my house. I see this man's bandit signs all over the place. Do I worry about him taking deals from me? Absolutely not. There's times when me and him have networked on deals for each other and worked out. So, I mean, don't ever feel like there's competition out here, guys. There's always ways. There's always enough room for people to eat. Because when you look at real estate and when you look at wholesaling, it's like this. It's life in general. Somebody's going to get married. Somebody's going to get divorced. Somebody's going to pass. Somebody's going to have a baby. So that means it's going to upscale, downscale. Life is bigger than all of us. Nobody can wholesale the entire county of St. Louis or the entire city of St. Louis. A deal is going to happen every 90 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So just don't worry about competition. Shout out to Chris.
Love it. I love that you guys have such a good relationship.
Oh, that's my man. That's the homie right there, man.
Avery is such a go-giver. He sure is, Chris. I love it.
Hey, Chris is a grustler, man. I mean, and what I mean by grustler, that dude be grinding and hustling all the time, man.
That is a new one. I have not heard that combination.
That's the grustler right there, man. What I mean by grinding is putting your feet to the ground and really just staying forward and doing what you got to do. And when you hustle, you're always making it happen. You know, a hustler is always out there doing what he's got to do to make it. Doesn't mean it's negative neither. It doesn't mean anything, with urban illegal activities. A hustler's a hustler no matter what. Whether you see a street vendor or whether you see somebody with a drop ship t-shirt company, a hustler's a hustler. They're going to make it happen no matter what. But when you grind through the hard times to get to where you want to be at, that's grustling.
I love it. I just wrote it on my whiteboard. I'm just going to make sure I remember this. And I'm going to be like, David, you're a grustler. And then I'll be like, that is a straight quote. I'll just make it like a quote thing. And it'll be Avery Smith quote.
Oh, for sure, man. For sure.
Clinton says, awesome, Avery. That's why you're doing as well as you are. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks, Clinton, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, I have to ask you, because you said you got like a Victorian house. I was like picking up on things. What are the top like 3 things for people who are just starting that you look for, or like if you see it, you're adding it to DealMachine?
All right, what I look for in a house is pretty much the activity. Of course, it's not snowing right now, so you can't see if the driveway's been used a lot. But just look at the gutters, windows, and mailboxes. That's always an indicator right there. Now, you do get people that don't check their mail. That's fine. But if the gutters are pretty bad, might be hanging off, full of leaves or something like that, or better yet, the house doesn't look really that updated, that lets me know there's somebody that's been in that house at least 15 years or better. They might not be physically able to do it, or they're just not there.
Okay. I like that, because that's you seem like you've had just a wide array of houses. You're the Victorian. What is could you tell me, is there a deal that like fell through or that was too complicated, or maybe something that you got, like, did you ever get paralysis analysis? Because I feel like so many people get overwhelmed by, you said like it can become a process. Can you speak to something that maybe happened that you learned from, that maybe wasn't a really like, I don't know, exciting thing at the time, I guess?
It came off my first deal. The lady who gave me her first deal at the street, she had a property way out in Denver, Missouri, and that's like maybe an hour and 20 minutes from my house in rural country. So I'm going out there to check out this property because, of course, I put it in DealMachine. It says a 3-bed, 2-bath. So I'm all excited and everything. Man, when I get out there, this house is nothing but a chimney. It's set on 5 acres. So when you walked in, the floor was all caved in and you can see the trusses all exposed. This house was terrible. And mind you, I'm not racially biased, but this is funny. So when I pull off the road, I get to this property, this guy pulls up. He's like, "Hey man, you lost?" And I'm like, "Nah, dude, I'm not lost." He goes, "Well, you got Illinois plates and we don't get too much of y'all out here." And I'm like, "Nah, dude, I'm fine. I'm straight." It's like, he's like, "Oh, I'm just checking." And he goes, "Oh yeah, if you're buying this property, it's got some liens on it because we've been cutting this grass for about 10 years. And I'm like, "Well, what you mean?" So that's what opened it up right there. So I'm like, "All right, fill me in," because the seller didn't really give me insight. They said, "Hey, I want to sell it like I sold my other property, so help me out." So he told me that it was just terrible. They never took care of the property. They just let it run down. Obviously, the roof came and all in. So the price we negotiated, I cut it off by 8,000. I was like, "Man, you didn't really tell me anything about this property. You wanted 12K." And I was like, "Nah, you can't get 12,000 for this property. So maybe about 4." So I marketed the best way that I could. I pretty much, instead of it being a house, I said it was vacant land. I looked up at the county assessor and see how much per acreage went in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I multiplied that by 80 to make it a discount, and then we made it happen.
Oh my gosh.
But that was really something that I had to learn about that, because I'd never really gotten to vacant land. I never, I was just doing the house thing. I was all focused on houses. I didn't know you can even wholesale land, but it was on a private gate community. So you got to look at the pluses about it, because it really didn't have that much exposure. The lake was right down the street. It was really, really beautiful. It was called Lake Tranquil. So that was some of the highlights that I had, even though you got a dozer property, but you got 5 acres that's near a lake. So you can do whatever you want with it.
Oh my gosh. And you said it was in gated community?
Yeah, it was in a gated community. Yeah.
That is the most, gosh, I swear the stories I hear from people in this industry of what they find, it's just the most, you guys could all write a book. Yeah. Basically.
And it's funny. It's like what I say on my card, man, on my business card, it says every address has a story. Let's begin with yours. And that's pretty much what it is. I mean, when you're out here grustling, every address has a different story. All you got to do is just listen. Don't even put how much money you need to make or would you like to make. Just listen to the story and see if you can put the pieces to the puzzle together to paint a better picture. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, I love it. And then how often, for those who, we talked about cold calling and marketing, how often do you approve mail like right when you add it? Do you approve it once a week? I know the answer, but I just want everyone else to kind of know.
Yeah, as soon as I submit anything in DealMachine, it goes out automatically. Okay. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I did have a mentorship program that helped me enhance my my wholesaling. Shout out to Cody Hoffine and Tom Kroll and Todd Toback and everybody, and Brent Daniels. Those guys are great. I became a part of their program, and I got more organized and structured. I do send out bulk mail every Thursday, so it's consistent no matter what. And when that's done, I can do another batch. I use DealMachine about 50% of my business, so it's half and half DealMachine, half bulk mail, and that's how I get a lot of my leads. And then also, with me being furloughed to part-time, so I'm just at the house a little bit more. So I just started diving deeper into lead generation by cold calling.
I freaking love it. And I love if you guys haven't checked it out, if you don't listen, you need to go listen to the Wholesaling Inc. episode. What episode number is it?
Oh, my episode on there, man.
Yes. You gotta listen to it. It's so good.
All right, let me see what episode that was, man.
Well, as you look that up, actually, David was on with Lauren Hardy, part of Wholesaling Inc. yesterday.
She's awesome. That's a good young lady. She's cool, man. She's real cool.
If you guys don't know about Lauren Hardy, check her out. She teaches a course about virtual wholesaling.
Yes.
And she's just an amazing. This Mom Flips. That's her handle.
Yes, she's definitely out there, and she's in there no matter what. She gets it done. Yes. Lauren is awesome, man. Let's see.
Yeah, Avery's so popular. He's on the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. I really want us to have a podcast at some point.
Yeah. I hope you guys out with that. I would definitely love to be a part of that. Let's see.
And I just can't wait till COVID's done, because then we did our retreat in St. Louis last year. And we missed you.
Yes, we did.
And then I was like, yes, this year we'll get to see Avery and actually meet him. And
I'll send that to you via email. Do you have it where I sent it to you?
Yeah.
You do? Yeah, just put that in a link, I guess, when you get it going, man, because
I'll post it in the description for everyone, but just so you guys know, because Cody was the one that interviewed you, correct?
Oh man, let me tell you something about these guys at Wholesaling, man. They're just like a big nest of open arms, man. You know what I mean? They put you in an uncomfortable spot just to make you better at what you're doing. Because DealMachine was cool. DealMachine really got me going on. But as I started DealMachining out, I'm hearing about Wholesaling Inc. So I'm like, what's going on with this? And then I'm hearing these massive spreads that everybody's doing. Of course, I mean, when you're doing DealMachine for the first time, you know, I mean, there's really no scripts. I mean, like you said, I'm an OG at this, so there was really no scripts. There was really nothing you really could refer to besides just actually doing it. So I'm ad-libbing as I'm going along. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there doing YouTube University and picking bits and pieces of what everybody else is doing. I picked up a lot of Chris Monroe and what he's doing. You know, so I pretty much structured my own little plane and had it formatted to where I can follow something. But when I got introduced to Cody, Tom, and Todd and Brent, those guys are really good, man. They just brought me into the family with open arms.
I freaking love it.
Yeah.
You've just exploded over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And now you're going to just, I can't wait I'd love to continue to have you on regularly so that people can see you and I can see you, because I don't really get to, like I said, we don't get to really talk to many people right now.
I really appreciate you guys showing my growth, because the thing about it is, in this business, it's unlimited. I remember a young lady by the name of Christina Spells. We sit at the same RIA meeting with Chris Monroe, and she said something that stuck out. She said, it's going to get to the point to where you forget about having paychecks. You're going to forget about all these things that you used to worry about when you worked a regular 9 to 5. And when you start getting this money, I want you to start giving back. So that really set in my heart, because I know that young lady personally. I know Bryson personally. You know what I'm saying? Those are some good people. And it really stuck in my heart, because I'm not trying to boast or brag, but this is what this game does to you. I don't have any credit card debt. I don't worry about mortgage payments. I don't worry about car payments or anything like that. So when you have this extra income, a lot of people talk about tithing. I'm not trying to get religious or anything, but you know, it's always about casting positive things into the universe. There's times when I'm at the grocery store, I pay for people's groceries behind me. You know, I'm always at food drives. I'm giving stuff to homeless people. You know, I mean, just because you are fortunate don't mean you can't look out for the less unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to give back, because even when you have things in abundance in your life that's coming to you, a lot of people really don't have that access to that. You know what I'm saying? And the small things, I mean, there was a homeless guy on the side of the road, and I gave him a big thing of tube socks, and it was brand new. He was like, dude, you don't know what it's like to just want to have dry socks. And I'm like, yeah, I do, bro. I was like, I've been homeless before, and I used to work on the ramp at the airport. Used to get rained on all the time. Cold, stinky, stiff socks, man. It's not cool to walk around in. So just look at ways to help people no matter what, and your life will be a lot better than what it is.
I love that. And we're not dropping Christina Spells too, which is awesome, because she's also another one in STL that has just.
Yeah. Oh man, that's the queen of cash right there. That's the homegirl.
She sure is.
That's the homegirl, man.
And I just love, we had her on one of our webinars, and her demeanor and just her attitude is amazing. And definitely one that
amazing woman. We talk all the time, you know, whenever she sees a deal, she's like, you know, send me some deals. She's a great woman. And the thing about it is, you know, when you're honest and you're humble in this game, you know, everything will work out to your own benefit. If you're not out there trying to snake people's deals, if you're not out there trying to, you know, take advantage of sellers and all that type of stuff, you're just generally solving problems and you're staying a buck and you're staying 100 with your word, you could never fail in this, because St. Louis is this big. And like you see, all the people that I've named, you've interviewed before. And I know these people. And, you know, and your name will float around, and you want the positive energy to be behind your name, not nothing shady.
No, I love that. I love this. This was a great Friday. I was looking forward to this, and I have meetings this afternoon that I know I'm going to be talking about all the things and be like, oh my gosh, I just talked to Avery, and David will be like, how's Avery? And all that good stuff. But
I started to put on my COVID Jason mask. Check this out. Hold on. A friend of mine is a makeup artist. He makes a lot of masks, man. He made me this Friday the 13th COVID mask. It's pretty dope.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, shout out to Jason Baker, man. He's a good guy. He makes masks for the WWE wrestlers and stuff, man. And he made that. His business partner is Tom Savini, who's made a lot of horror films, man, and it was made in their studio. And I got that right when COVID started hitting and we needed masks and everything.
Oh dear Lord, that is the most like artistic mask I've ever seen.
So, I mean, it's got the little straps in the back, man. It actually works. It's got a filter in it and everything. Of course, I don't wear it out. I got it for decor down here in my theater, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
I was about to say, I'm not going to lie. If I saw a man walking towards me with one of those masks, I'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you ain't selling no house on that one.
Well, thank you so much again, Avery, for being on. And it's so great to see you.
Yeah.
And we will see each other again soon, but thank you.
Hey, do you mind if I give a couple little things? If anybody wants to learn how to work with a real estate agent, you can go to chriscraddock.com. He's got some good stuff for you to teach you how to work with a real estate agent. You can follow me at the Hands Dirty Wholesaler on Instagram anytime. You can follow me Hands Dirty Wholesaling. That's my business page. If you guys need any help, have any questions, feel free to reach out.
And I will put all of that in the description too, if anybody needs to reference it.
Oh, Steph. Well, thanks a lot, Elise.
Thank you, Avery. Y'all have a good one.
Y'all stay positive and peaceful, man. Stay blessed, man. Be healthy.
Bye.